Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at, well, a bunch of reveals from Paldean Fates. The thing is, though, some of the reveals we're talking about here are going to be some of the biggest cards in Paldean Fates. And don't get me wrong, there are some big cards we're expecting that aren't in here, that's fine. But two of the ones we're talking about here are going to be among the very, very biggest and bestest cards that are coming in the Hidden Fates. No, wait, that was a while ago. Paldean Fates expansion. And these are worth getting very, very excited about. And we might as well start off with what is probably going to be the biggest card in the set. And that is the Charizard. This Charizard, it's a special card. And it's one that people are going to be very, very excited about. Of course, we know we're getting a shiny Charizard in Paldean Fates, but we also know that it's not actually coming in the main set. You're not going to be able to pull it from a booster pack. It's going to be a tin promo coming in those tins. So that would have been one of the big cards. That one's gone away, but we've still got the special illustration rare, and the special illustration rare is absolutely stunning. It's so good. Now, one of the really cool things about this is done by Akira Igawa, who is one of the best artists working in the Pokemon TCG right now. Also, for my money, for what it's worth, the actual #1 best artist working in the One Piece TCG right now. Yeah, these artists are starting to cross over, and I'm all here for it. But what we basically got here is the same artist who did the special illustration rare Charizard from Obsidian Flames. Same Pokemon, same artist, and not just the same Pokemon, mind you, but literally the same card. This is the same card. It's a special illustration rare of that Charizard with Infernal Rain and Burning Darkness. I mean, this past weekend, we literally saw this card, not this print, obviously it's not out yet, but this card went and won the San Antonio Regional Championships. Azul Garcia Griego went and won San Antonio this past weekend with Charizard. And now, we're getting this new fancy version of it, which is kind of amazing and ridiculous and awesome. Did we need another special illustration rare of the same card by the same artist? I mean, we didn't need it, no. Am I absolutely delighted that it's here? Oh, you'd better believe it. Although I will say it is starting to get a little bit silly with this card now, because we've got the regular version, and then we've got the full art, and then we've got the gold version. And then we've got the special illustration rare, all of which came around in Obsidian Flames. Then we had the second full art, so to speak, in the Charizard EX Premium Collection. And now we're getting a second special illustration rare. I mean, admittedly, we don't have a second gold version of it yet, but we do literally have 6 versions of this one Charizard card now. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say I'm not 100% sure we need 6 versions of this Charizard card. But, I don't know, people like Charizard. And look, for my money, this is probably the best of them. Of all 6 of them that are around, this is probably the coolest one. And if nothing else, it's still a Charizard. It's the fanciest Charizard that can be pulled from a pack of Paldean Fates. So, yeah, you better believe this is going to be the one that people get very, very, very excited about. I'll be honest with you, if I get to pull this from a pack of Paldean Fates, I will be delighted. But this is not the only ridiculously exciting special illustration rare which has gone and been revealed from Paldean Fates. Because over on the official Pokemon TCG website, they did a little article just showing off some new artists. And in doing so, they showed us this card from Uzman, which I'm probably pronouncing terribly. If I am, I apologize. But it's the special illustration rare of Mew EX, and I adore this. I've told this before, I follow Uzman over on, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, I apologise, over on Twitter. I have done for a while now. They are a phenomenal artist, and they do other stuff, but they seem to specialise in Pokemon fan art. Very distinctive style, very adorable style, Great follow on Twitter if you're not already. And yeah, now they've gone and done this. And I think this is absolutely wonderful. I adore this artist. When I first saw this card, I thought it was a fake, that someone had just taken some of their, some of Uskerman's fan art and just kind of put it on a fake card. But no, it turns out it's entirely real and entirely wonderful. Now, of course, just like we said about Charizard a minute ago, yeah, this is a reprint of Mew from 151, and it's not as ridiculous as the Charizard, but we still do have a few different versions of this one. This is, I think calling it not a new card is a little bit of underselling it. Obviously, we've got the regular version of Mew, and then we've got ourselves a full art version of Mew, and the gold version of Mew, and then in the Ultra Premium collection, we already had a special illustration rare. So, yeah, we already had a playset of different versions. We've now got ourselves an extra one. Also, I should mention this before we get any further. When I was counting off all the different versions of Charizard, and I told you there were 6, do remember that was 6, including the new special illustration rare. But of course, there is the shiny version, which is the same card as well, coming in the tin. So there's actually 7 different prints of that Charizard by the time Paldean Fates comes around. I didn't want a comment section full of people telling me the same thing. I should have mentioned it then. I've mentioned it now. We good, ladies and gentlemen. We good. And it is worth noting that this Mew is also, like Charizard, an extremely playable card. This popped up, going back to San Antonio Regionals this past weekend. I watched that very closely, and it appeared in a bunch of decks. This Mew was absolutely legit. Now, it's not quite on Charizard level because it's not, winning regionals yet. At least not by itself. But this Mew is popping up in a bunch of different lists. We saw it popping up in Joseph Nowell's 3rd place Palkia list, for instance. It was in there. And that was kind of awesome. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. This Mew is still very good and sees a bunch of play. And that was just one example. It's popped up in a bunch of different deck lists. Nick Robinson's 7th place Miraidon list had a couple of Mew in, as an example. My point is, it is absolutely out there. Very cool card. And you have to decide whether you like this one or the previous special illustration rare. For me, I thought the previous one was adorable. But I think I've made my thoughts about this print extremely clear. That there is, don't get me wrong, I love Natsumi Yoshida's artwork. It's amazing. But no, if you're asking me to pick one, it's really clear which one I'm picking. This new one is absolutely amazing. These are a couple of the special illustration rares you can be getting very excited about. But we have also been shown a couple of other illustration rares we should probably mention too, including this Palafin, which looks straight out of Aquaman or Batman or something from the DC universe. It just looks awesome, alright? Very menacing. And again, it's an existing card. This is not a new one that we've never seen before. This is a new print of an existing card. I just think it's kind of awesome. Now, we did actually already have an illustration rare of this in Obsidian Flames, but it wasn't just that. We also got it as a pre-release promo. So now this is kind of cool, and I know this isn't a great card. It's one of those cards that's really, really good in pre-release format. In a limited format, this is awesome. In standard format, no, this is not good at all. But I do kind of like the way that we've now got the regular, the pre-release promo, and both the illustration rares. So now, if you do want to play this card, and you want to play a playset with 4 different artworks, you can. And okay, fine, I know we've actually talked about a bunch of cards in this video where you do have a playset or more of the same card with different artwork. Generally speaking, that doesn't happen. We don't usually get 4 or more prints of the same card. It just so happens that in this video I've shown you 3 cards, and this is the least printed of them because it's only got 4 different prints. It's a pretty cool card. Single energy, 30 to the active, 30 to the bench, or 2 energy, 210 if it became active this turn. Underpowered in standard, like I've said, but in a pre-release format, This is actually a very good card, and if you played the Obsidian Flames pre-release, you probably know what I'm talking about. And then they went and dropped Pawmi as well, because Pawmi's kind of adorable. My children discovered Pawmi this morning. Let's just say they're fans. And I love this card because you've got regular Pawmi all just kind of sitting around sleeping, and then shiny Pawmi is just sitting there awake because he knows something's going on, and he will be ready for it. And I find that kind of adorable. For what it's worth, this was also shown off on the new artist spotlight article they put on Pokemon.com, because it is done by Rend, who had previously only done this Arcanine from the Pokemon illustration contest. As a side note, that contest has just launched again. And if you can enter it, please do, because some of the best artists in the game have come directly from that illustration contest. I mean, I've made no secret of the fact that I'm a huge fan of Okacheke. Okacheke was a Pokemon artist that came around after they entered the illustration contest with a card that never actually got printed, but then they've done a bunch of cards since, and I've made absolutely no secret of the fact that as far as I'm concerned, Okacheke is doing the best artwork in the Pokemon TCG. I am absolutely in love with Okacheke's art style. I mean, yeah, you know, here's a Slowpoke they did for the illustration contest. And this didn't win, although look how wonderful it is. And this never got printed on a card, although look how wonderful it is. But we have since had many Okacheke cards. So just as a quick side note, you don't actually need to win the illustration contest, because there are a bunch of artists that work with Pokemon now who didn't win the illustration contest, but did enter it, and have started working with Pokemon after the fact. That's all a little bit of a side note. I mean, look, it's a Pawmi, right? Pawmi isn't exciting. I don't think that's a controversial statement. How, as in playability-wise, it's wonderful as a Pokemon and an artwork and all of that. But now we've got Pawmi. I'm afraid we don't have like 20 different prints of this card. We've just got the regular and this one, and then there's obviously going to be a shiny in the set as well. And it's kind of lovely, all right? It's kind of cool. We like Pawmi. Right, there we go. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me which of these cards you're excited about. Tell me which of these cards you love. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely Uriel Rojas, who's one of our newer patrons and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.